Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, your favorite leftist gaming podcast. We have a movie review today for you folks. All I could think of while watching 2018's The Rampage with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
No, just Rampage, not The Rampage.
I'm pretty sure you also forgot a subtitle to it. I think it's...
Yeah, 3D.
Really?
It's Rampage 3D.
When
No,
I'm looking at its poster, it literally just says Dwayne Johnson.
It's Rampage.
It's Big Meets Bigger is like the tagline.
Mm.
Which is hilarious. Which I have to give it points for that. I do appreciate that. But
Some big boys.
So, this is a kaiju flick, beasties getting even beastier with some space goo. All I could think of in my mind while watching this movie has already done better. And it with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the Ooze one. I'm definitely forgetting the part of that title.
I think it's like Legend Secrets of the Ooze.
Secrets of the Ooze, or TMNT Ooze. But like all I could think of is that this has been done better. The Secret of the Ooze, that's right. Yeah, I love that movie.
But the best Ooze movie is Power Rangers the movie with Ivan Ooze.
Classic villain.
Speaking of classics, because we're doing a movie episode, I would like to just have a little moment of silence for a loss we had in the cinema, the film community recently in the dear director David Lynch passing away. So we'll all take a moment.
Almost feels
silence.
Disrespectful to have a moment of silence for him with this movie, but
yeah, R.I.P. to the GOAT. Let's proceed to talk about absolutely.
So I'd like to read a quote from David Lynch to start off our episode. So he says, someone might say, I don't understand music, but most people experience music emotionally and would agree that music is an abstraction. You don't need to put music into words right away. You just listen. Cinema is a lot like music. It can be very abstract, but people have a yearning to make intellectual sense of it. Put it in the right words right away. David Lynch. And I think this movie really, is an abstraction. We can't put it into intellectual words. The humor of a giant albino monkey gorilla named George.
Big monkey fight big alligator.
So, I think as we're going through this episode, keep those words in mind, that it doesn't always need to be intellectual. It could be an abstraction.
Turn your fucking brain off, you fucking swine.
Stop.
Enjoy the pretty colors.
Yes. Enjoy monkey smashing alligator.
So
this was the type of movie where I would look up every now and then and be like, has anything actually happened? Because Dwayne is just making the same face, talking to the same people, making the same arguments.
Listen, I didn't take my eyes off this movie. I popped an Addy. I sat there.
He was fully present in the moment.
I was more engaged than I've been in months with this movie. So I got a lot of good things to say, and I won't be taking any there will be no negative comments.
No, there will be plenty of negatives coming out of my direction.
I'll be fighting you.
I do have one major gripe, and it's the fact that this is in the era of the Rock movies where he has basically abandoned his eyebrow move. There was no look at the camera.
That's true.
This is
this is a perfect movie for it.
Exactly. Not taking itself too seriously.
Okay,
hold on. That's a The Rock move, not a Dwayne Johnson.
Not a Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
But I'm pretty sure he did it in
Dwayne Johnson to you,
He did it in Jumanji, which was around this era. So
True.
2016.
Yeah. Really?
But the real question to you is, do you
ago?
speak fluent sign language? Do you know for a fact that he wasn't signing eyebrow raise?
He got you there.
Because let me tell you, when I was in college, we played against a deaf school, so I know a little bit of sign language myself. Most of it's stuff that you shouldn't repeat in English.
Wait a minute. Why would you sign eyebrow raise? Deaf people can see.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have scared George. Maybe George didn't like the eyebrow raise and made him too
what you
aggressive.
don't know is George wasn't a CGI monkey. He was a real monkey.
He was real.
And he's not a monkey either. He's an ape. I know the difference.
Yeah.
Monkeys have tails.
I keep saying monkey.
but you can say monkey, and that
Yeah.
applies.
Correct.
That is the general accepted
primate.
scientific umbrella term
So-
for
Yeah, but
greater
there was an
apes and
interaction in
primates.
Overwatch where Winston would get real mad when people called him a monkey.
Oh no.
Winton.
So I have a question for the pod, and it's, what is our collective thoughts about primates? Their existence? How
Are they
conscious are they? Should we all be way more scared of them than we are? What's
Are
what is
you
the
asking
thoughts?
how-
You should generally carry a healthy fear of most wild animals.
Are you
Yeah.
asking like how likely is Planet of the Apes to happen? Is like that what you're
Are
getting
you
at
asking
here?
if you should purchase a chimpanzee as a companion?
Absolutely not.
No, never.
I'm asking, are we thumbs up on monkeys and primates, or are we thumbs down on monkeys and primates?
I'm
thumbs up.
universally thumbs up on monkeys. Primates are mostly thumbs up, but like, so here's the thing.
Baboons? No.
We've talked about right, all animals. We subscribe to the general leftist ideology of podcasting world that all animals can be classified as cats, dogs, or guys, right? We've been on record about this. And all primates, monkeys, apes, the greater apes, they're all guys for sure. No question about it.
100%.
That's obvious. But the difference between, say, like gorillas, cool, chill guys, awesome, definite thumbs up. These, pure evil. They are
Yep.
evil.
Okay.
They are
Okay.
evil guys.
Baboons.
I
Same
am
with
good. I am
baboons.
good. I like that dichotomy.
They are evil.
Orangutans?
Very
Thumbs up.
cool and chill. We like
Yeah.
them.
That guy
They were
smokes a
smoking
blunt with you.
me. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. Same wavelength.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say my answer to your question, Andrew, is I have the healthy fear, and I think that Planet of the Apes is something that could happen in some reality. In our reality, it's not happening because the world's going to end in like 20
Does
years. and
James
that's not enough
Franco
time.
cure Alzheimer's and doom the world?
Oops.
That's
Oops.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't even actually cure Alzheimer's. Pretty sure his dad like slips back into.
Yeah, but that's just because he saw the monkeys and he got so scared that it just undid all the the shit that cured the Alzheimer's.
The only true Alzheimer's cure is super sharks, and it's from the documentary Deep Blue Sea.
is that a History Channel documentary?
They were
This is a
Discovery Channel
documentary with
documentaries.
noted scientist Samuel L. Jackson.
Amazing.
How do you
And
you
hey-
not know Deep Blue Sea?
Oh, Deep Blue Sea. Okay, no, that's not an. Okay, I get the bit. Yes, no, I do know that one.
It's got LL Cool J in it.
Yep.
He raps over the end credits.
Oh yeah, he's in that one. Cube is in Anaconda. That's
Yes.
that's
Something like
I just
deep
want to make
blue,
clear,
hard like a shark fin, or something like that.
The Mermaid, the Body Found, and the Dragon documentary were Discovery Channel
Yo,
documentaries.
fucking
not
Michael Rappaport is in that movie. Incredible. I hope he gets eaten.
Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, I hope he gets eaten really quick.
he does.
Hell yeah.
The absolute best part of Deep Blue Sea is Samuel L. Jackson, right as the shit starts to go down, giving the heroic speech.
Yes.
And you're like, yes, Samuel L. Jackson's about to lead these people back to
Class.
the surface, and then he gets eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
the
do
shark
remember that bit.
Just jumps in. Fucking. I love that.
It's been a long time since I've seen this movie, and
I'd like us
that
to-
was definitely a.
It's a classic FX movie.
I was gonna say I definitely saw that on TV, so probably heavily edited, of course.
Speaking of FX movies, I think we should pivot back to.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have
Okay.
gone to
Any
through
other
like
movie but
3
this.
other video
Hey,
properties.
Listen, I love this movie. I'm just gonna stay at the top, probably middle by now after our tangent. This is an FX movie to me. This was prime material. It didn't seem like a 2018 movie to me. It seemed much more like it came out in like 2004 to
The
9.
only-
Yeah,
I wanna-
that speaks to the quality of the CGI graphics.
But I want to jut
which
in
I
right
thought
there.
were not bad.
I thought they were not bad because it's Weta
Yeah.
who was doing them, so like it wasn't horrible. There were some moments. The one.
The
Since you're
wolf.
calling it
The
out,
wolf in general,
Wolf is
just
the
not as good.
okay, I thought it was all right. That's not what I'm referring to. There's one specific scene, and just since you're bringing up, digital effects, I have to jump in here. It's when they are parachuting out of the destroyed
Yes,
cargo
yes,
plane.
yes. Their faces.
They're because it's a stunt person that they're filming that they've obviously put their heads on, and it is so
I
bad.
didn't even notice that. I kind of
It's
need
so
to go
bad.
back
So
and look
bad.
at that because I want to see
It looks like the Airhead commercials where the person's
Yes,
face
a
would like
balloon.
blow
It's
up
gotta
into
be a
a balloon.
Yes.
That's great.
It's just
That's
twice
fantastic.
we've talked about inflation.
Hell yeah.
Hey, first time in the actual pod.
Yeah. Oh, we got to keep a sense of continuity here, Matt. Come on.
Yeah. But yeah,
But I had another thing I wanted to jut in back to the, your initial point that this is a FX movie, and I'm like, you're right, except for the fact that this is an extremely sexless movie.
I mean, so
Yes.
I want to jump in there. There's a couple points where it.
Shut up.
There's a
Shut
couple.
up. They don't even fucking kiss, dude. Shut up. Shut
Yeah,
up.
no. The biggest thing is at the end when George does the finger
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
whole thing.
that was that, and when the girl in the beginning that you never see past like the first 10 minutes,
Past 5 minutes.
yeah, tries to get Dwayne the Rock Johnson to go on a date with her because she's all horny after she sees him calm down.
The
George
same
and Pavo.
as Huey from The Boys, like which
Yes.
really Jack Quaid, which is like
Jack
really funny
Quaid,
to see some of these actors like just that was a part of it.
Andrew and I were having this conversation. It was right before The Boys like probably started.
Yeah, it was
filming.
before he really kind of had his kind of breakout.
And like it could quite possibly be that he got cut out, from later.
He was in the prime of his nepo baby come up at that point. I think what it was, and it ties into a larger thing, and we're just kind of going fast and loose here, is that we were texting back and forth, I think yesterday or whatever, about this, and I did feel like the movie had a bit of tying together that it missed at the very end. Like that we were talking about, is there going to be a credits scene, an end credit scene of some sort? And I'm like, yeah, I'm Marvel poisoned. It makes me, any kind of blockbuster film is going to, trick me into thinking that there's something. But it's because I felt like there was a little bit of resolution that was lacking at the end. And really what it would have been is they are back either at San Diego or in some like other new facility where George is being treated in a new big condition, and all the rest, all of that original primatology group is back, and they're all taking care of him, and that would have been the kind of full circle
last night, but
that
he made a
got
good
cut.
point.
That definitely just got cut.
It definitely got cut. But
my
Andrew
theory,
had a very
let me give my theory. Here's my theory. The movie ends where it ends because in reality, George has to die. Like, he's fucking dead. No country is letting him exist. It becomes guerrillas, their weapons of mass destruction. Like, it's an arms race to have superpower gorillas.
Who's got the biggest gorilla? Who's got the biggest
control? He's got to die. George is gonna die. He's getting killed by someone like instantly.
He just did 9/11 in Chicago.
Literally what he said yesterday.
They did Chicago 9/11. Another bonus points for this movie. As I was watching it, I was like, oh, I completely forgot they did this. Amazing.
Yeah, but Transformers 3 did it first.
True.
You're not wrong.
Fair.
But yeah, like fucking China is, flying a drone over that's just gonna, pick up George on the satellite and just annihilate him.
Flying a drone over to pick up George on satellite. I want you to think about the statement you just made.
God.
I'm not the tech one here. Come on. But so another point to them doing Chicago 9/11, Andrew and I were talking about, this definitely did not have military funding, or a lot of it, because
it had to. Well, so that was a point that I wanted to bring up too. But like, it's so confusing.
Yes, truly.
It had to with the amount of vehicles and that's the only way they get that shit is with
100%. But it's so weird because
they look so ineffectual.
They're just getting clowned. They're just getting straight up clowned. So, I don't know how the Pentagon approved that one.
Exactly.
Here's how. The big sexy operative man is saving the world. He's a former tier 1 operator. That's right. So who's on the special anti-poaching task force.
And I'm convinced that it's the US government trying to like put something in front of your face so you don't see it. It's like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who people think is an operator in this movie that saves the world. You know, it's too close to real life, so people can't, can't say anything. People are gonna look past the fact that Dwayne is really an operator mind controlled by the CIA.
Was doing the real kind of mental programming here where it's like, yeah, we don't conventional warfare, that shit's out. We don't bother with that shit anymore. We just do like unlimited black site funding with
Yep.
all the tier 1 operators. They're
Well,
they're the ones who are saving the day.
also the biggest thing that doesn't make sense in this movie
And they get
is
zero pussy for doing it.
yeah. But the biggest thing that doesn't make sense is the US government didn't have their hands in Energene already.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the fact that they weren't behind the
They
research
didn't already
there.
have defense contracts. Also, I just want to say, I would absolutely watch a movie where Dwayne Johnson plays a tier 1 operator who's just slaughtering poachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Boy, do I have a TV show for you. It's called Dragon Ball. And it might not be Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but it is Android 17 killing poachers on an island.
No, I need Dwayne. I need that man that has
I forget, is 17 the big mentally challenged one?
No, 17 is the femboy one.
Amazing.
Okay. Oh, right. So 16 is the
16 is the big goof. 17 and 18 are the twins.
My confusion there is because he was the one who is like, as to show that he's mentally disabled. They have him, he likes little bird. He's like this big, intimidating guy. Then he'll like put his finger out, and a little bird will come and sit on it, and he's like, "Ooh, the pretty birdie."
referencing the pretty bird.
He's also a George.
Exactly,
no,
exactly what I was
exactly.
gonna say. So Andrew and I were having this
100%.
conversation that George is a great name for a monkey,
Wow.
of any sort. Like Curious George, George of the Jungle, even though he's not a monkey, he's a
fits.
monkey.
It fits.
It fits. Until you brought up this little bird thing, I hadn't thought about George and Of Mice and Men, and
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
that's what sends it home. That makes it. George is a great choice for a monkey.
I honestly feel like George wasn't big enough. Make
Yes,
him
correct.
bigger.
They needed to make him bigger because the other two were so much bigger than him. But hold on, I as the normally ADHD, tangent prone, I'm gonna center us back because we have not told our listeners anything about this movie except for things that
That's
we
the
randomly
goal.
like.
Trying to get through a full hour of this without talking about the movie.
I mean, we're talking about the movie. We're
I
not
just
going
wanna give
into
a loose plot line.
I prefer it when we
Loose
just do
plot
kind
line.
of random instead of the
Yeah,
actual.
no, that's fine.
Space
beat by
station
beat.
crashes.
We've done
Alien
enough.
goo
We've
makes
given
things
some
bigger.
context.
They go
You
crazy.
should specify what makes the space station explode. It's mutant
A rat.
fucking Splinter. Again,
and
I'm
it's
telling you, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles still does it better.
I hadn't thought about that one. That's perfect.
Yeah, that is great.
Wait, I just want to clarify. This is not alien goo. This is not the symbiote. This is manufactured CRISPR technology.
Yeah.
They are vaxxed, folks. They are vaxxed.
Again, crazy that the government didn't have their hands in this somehow, and they're only finding out after there's a giant monkey.
All I can say is
Yes, they managed to explode the International Space Station.
Yeah.
This was just one of those movies that uses science terms like buzzwords to make it sound smart.
Yes,
Mhm.
because it's a campy fucking FX movie. Like, it doesn't take itself seriously. The villains are fucking goobers, which were
Yeah,
amazing.
The main
Both the
CEO
villains-
antagonist is Plop from The Office.
But I haven't watched The Office, and I don't care
Same.
I never will.
Same.
He's an idiot, a stooge. Like,
Yeah,
it was fine.
It was great.
Is that
He's
not
hilarious.
is that not what his role is supposed to be like in? I assume it's a comedic role in The Office, right? You're not supposed to take him seriously.
He's essentially an intern.
So that's what
He's
kind
not
of the
even
role
the
he kind
villain.
of served. Yeah, Malin Ackerman is the true. Of course, got to give the movie points based for making the villain be an evil woman.
A
She did an
hot,
incredible
evil
job
woman.
with it. Incredible job.
Except Malin Ackerman was wearing a terrible wig throughout the whole thing. I will
But
say.
that's what made it so campy and great. Like I love this movie, and I had seen it before, and I didn't realize until after I finished watching it that I'd seen it before because I'm pretty sure I fell asleep watching most of it and woke up at the end where George was signing sex. But I was upset. I went to Andrew's last night. I thought he hadn't watched it. I thought I was going to get to watch it again. I was ready to fucking, this movie was great to me. It was campy, it was funny, it was fucking stupid. It didn't really take itself seriously. Dwayne The Rock Johnson had some great lines. My favorite character, Russell, we haven't talked about him yet. The cowboy.
Yeah, Jeffrey D. Morgan had some fun.
Crushed it. His fucking belt buckle with his like pearl handled,
inlaid, yeah,
like deagle,
right over his. They say right over his dick. He's like, literally, I've got two penises right here. They're both for you to look at.
No one ever carries their gun there. It was incredible. Just dangling his flashy fucking gun over his cock.
Wait. Like, just think about trying to sit down with a gun like on your leg there. It wouldn't work.
No, not at all. You're getting the end of the barrel right in the spot where your dick and two balls meet.
It's either that or it's going to discharge and go right into your, sever your femoral artery.
Yeah, it's going to sever your femoral.
Or just give you your own vasectomy.
Ugh.
Oh my God.
But great character. Assholes, they got to stick together.
Yeah, I didn't. That line being repeated over and over again was like, they thought that line was cleverer than it was.
Yeah. No, it was a one-timer, and it should have been left there because it was good one time. But yeah, I do agree with that. But there were some other great one-liners, like when the goofy villain guy, Plop, dies, and because he
gets smushed. That was funny, yeah.
Yeah, and then Russell just goes, "Damn, that was a lot."
There weren't that many also kind of Marvel isms. That kind of almost sounded like one, at least how Mike delivered it. It was better in.
Yeah, of course. I'm not an actor.
There was like only one, I think, case of like the, well, that just happened kind of thing, and that wasn't as offensive. I can't even remember
when The Rock was like, when he's having that moment with the doctor, and he's like, the poachers shot at us and they missed, and I didn't. Was it that line?
No. There is a almost an exact variation of the, well, that just happened. I can take a cornball line, absolutely. Yeah. Again, I like that. That is all campy and shit. I'm talking funny. Like the Whedon-esque type shit. Like of
was it when Davis is like, when they're right before they steal the medevac chopper, and he like does his operator shit, and he like says what's gonna happen, and then does it, and it was like, well, I told you this is what was gonna happen, and I didn't want to do it.
It was something like that. It was either that, or it was when someone was like, they were like running around, and it was like almost a background line. It was not like a linger on the camera, wink, well, that just happened, or he's standing right behind me type of shit. So I found that pretty good. Back to Jeffrey Dean Morgan, like, the whole thing about him being a cowboy and whatnot, they should have given him a cowboy hat.
Yes, he's like, I agree.
Even with like the suit and stuff, it would have been fine. Like the look would have been fine, but like I just didn't fully buy into the, why am I supposed to think he's a cowboy just because of the belt buckle and the accent?
It was that, and
because for the longest time I thought that was his badge, because they didn't really like. Well, because your eye is drawn to the penis, to the gun.
Yeah.
Not really the belt buckle. So I'm like, oh, that's his badge and gun. Those are his cock and balls.
Yeah. He reminded me a lot of the Mayhem Man from Allstate. Because he had like the suit on that was like kind of disheveled, and the whole movie he had the one butterfly bandage over his eye like the Mayhem Man.
Yeah.
But I agree, a cowboy hat. Or just give him a lasso or something too. Like they could have gone.
They didn't have to go that far. They didn't have to give him chaps.
They didn't have to, but I'm saying that they could have.
For a government man,
if he's walking around without, how am I supposed to know he's a cowboy?
Yeah, right. No, but I think they should have done a cowboy hat. It would have been fine. He
didn't even have a fucking rope on his hip. What the fuck?
Yeah, come on.
He did have the big iron though. He did have the big iron on his hip. So.
Hey, it wasn't big though. That's only a 45. It's a 1911. It's a very classic style gun that people like to fancy out. It was typical cowboy shit.
You know what was a point that kept taking me out of it? Not the fact that Dwayne The Rock Johnson is a former Tier 1 operator who, found his way into this line of work by being, on the anti-poaching stuff. I found that believable enough, and like a decent enough sense of motivation and all this. But that he is like a primatologist that isn't a PhD, right? He's the head of the primate division at the San Diego Zoo, and is not a PhD. Like,
listen,
what makes him qualified, say, to be the lead primatologist, right? Like, when they kept referring to, it's like him as Mr. Okoye and the doctor lady as Dr.
whatever.
So her characters.
Here's the thing.
Naomi Harris, the actor.
Here's the thing. When you have the ability to control a gorilla through sign language, you become the head. You're in charge.
They just appoint it to you. They're like, oh, you could control this 700-pound beast. You got it. Job's yours.
That was the bit that kept getting me. I was like, surely he went and like got his PhD after the fact. Got to take advantage of that GI Bill, baby.
Listen, our soldiers are experienced in every facet of life. There's no experience equal to that of being a tier 1 operator.
And most of his file was redacted. We don't know if he got a secret PhD well in the military. We do not know that.
If you're going to hunt poachers, you have to know all of the animals' habits so that you can find the animals to find the poachers. Obviously, he had a PhD before he was even an operator.
He probably has multiple. He probably has a psychology PhD. He's out there doing like psychotherapy with the poachers, trying to figure out, their motivations before he lights them up.
He's just not a Dr. Jill type who has stolen valor with their stupid PhDs trying to think they're all medical doctors.
He's humble.
Get out of here.
He doesn't like people, so he doesn't want people simping over him because he's got so many doctorate degrees and he's an operator and hot. So, he's gotta humble it down.
So I've got a couple points that I want to get to, and they come from, we have to ground them in at least a little bit of plot, right? So the experiments going on the space station, all the crew getting killed by Splinter. One of them gets away, but breaks up on re-entry. Yet the sample canisters are they're re-entry proof. They crash to Earth, and they're exposed. 3 of the different animals are exposed, and they are the direct references to the game, which we also have not touched on, right? How like this is an adaptation of a 1986 arcade game, Rampage, that has the 3 characters. There is the difference in the game. It's these 3 humans who are exposed to different experiments or whatever, except for Ralph, who he's a glizzy fanatic and gets exposed to a mysterious food additive, and that's what turns him into his version. The other ones are a little bit more reasonable.
One thing I want to say is there's only one sample that re-enters, and it's the one sample that she collects. And
she collected 3 different versions and put them in the one box. She's able to get 3, and then they go separately.
See, I thought only one re-entered in that. Like, there was only one, and it re-entered there, and the other shit was just from like the space station, and because it didn't show actual canisters.
No, because all that shit exploded. No, they did show the canisters, because the alligator eats one, the wolf gets exposed to the other one, and George gets the third.
So another thing I wanted to point out then was we mentioned at the top when Matt was saying or thinking that there was an extra, like the subtitle to the movie. But so they do advertise it as Rampage 3D, and it's like really supposed to be like Rampage 3 3D, even though it's not Rampage like the 3rd movie or whatever. George is the 3rd Rampage. So he's like the 3rd that gets exposed, and they do call the wolf Rampage 1, at least the military does at first. And so it is like a little fuzzy in that they find the alligator 3rd, but like George is supposed to be like the 3rd Rampage.
Yeah. So
animal.
I guess I'll start with the relevant off of that point, I guess, is thoughts on like the creature designs. Because I will say the one that bugs me is George, right? Because the whole concept is that this is this like super soldier animal formula that's taking CRISPR to merge together the DNA of all these different animals to create like all these different traits. And so you see that manifest in the other two. Like Ralph was originally a wolf, but like has these qualities of like a porcupine and like a flying squirrel or something.
Yeah. Flying squirrel, totally.
Or sugar glider or something. You know, it has got all those traits. And Lizzie, the alligator, obviously is a gator, but then has it's like a boar and the whatever that type of lizard that has the neck fan thing.
Brill.
And then like the fucking dinosaur tail.
Yeah, well, it definitely brings out alligators and crocodiles are basically just dinosaurs already.
I agree with you that George
is just monkey. He's just big. Like, he's just monkey.
He's not even as big as the other ones, but I think they purposely did that to like show his friendliness.
It's a marketing thing. It's he's the one that's still going to be good and friendly. He can't look ugly.
Exactly.
He's just got to look like big friendly monkey.
And that's why they make him smaller too. I think is to like differentiate. Which he should have been King Kong size, not just Hulk size. And yeah, but I don't even like what else would they give him? Because he got like shark abilities and like the regenerative processes. He had like cheetah speed. So they could have given him a cheetah pattern. That would have been fucking tight.
Yeah, that
and you can do
gorilla. You can give him a shark fin.
Yeah, a shark fin, a fucking
give him more shark teeth too.
Yeah,
there's ways to do it.
That would be cool.
There's ways to do it.
I want that like albino cheetah print. That'd be dope.
Yeah, no, you could do all of those. It's just like it's just like one of these is not like the other type of thing, and it was just visually kind of jarring.
I think the alligator.
I know why they did it, but
it also kind of gives away the ending where it's like very just obvious. I mean, like it's not like this movie isn't predictable, but it does just even visually be like obviously George is gonna fight the other two.
And the other point I wanted to bring up was when they first discover the wolf, Ralph. That, as the movie says, weirdos on the internet have taken to calling him Ralph is a great way to introduce, like the Easter egg of that's what the character from the game is called. Of course, weirdos on the internet would give them some strange name, But so like I loved the bit. This is actually what sold the movie to me. Is they're like, oh, we're gonna show our big bad. It also runs counter, or no, maybe it doesn't, because this is maybe a little bit why the Pentagon is like. Again, this shit is ineffective when, conventional warfare is ineffective and also the private operators are ineffective. Give the money that you're giving to the private contractors to us. Because they make it seem like that the private military force run, as they do like the reveal for Joe Manganiello that he's this badass. He's gonna do all this cool shit. He's gonna be around. He's gonna be a threat. There's gonna be a big climactic showdown at the end of the movie against him and George. Like that, there's just gonna be
him and fucking Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah, like they're gonna be fighting
like Rock, Fast and Furious fight.
There's gonna be all this, back and forth, and then he just gets fucking. His entire squad just gets absolutely murked.
And my favorite part about him dying was not only the dripping of the saliva, but he clicks his gun off safety and puts you hear a click. So this motherfucker was walking around, seemingly with his gun
on. Kinetic situation,
but he's got trigger discipline.
Yeah, but this is not a point when you want trigger discipline. I'm all for the trigger discipline, trust me, but. No, you want this one on fire, automatic, ready to go. You got other clips ready to fucking, reload. You're not walking around on safe with fucking Ralph chasing you. That was crazy to me.
I want to Matt, I want to pull you back in because I know that we've been kind of glazing this film for the stupidity that it is, but bring the hater energy. I need to where have you been throughout all these points that we're just kind of hooting and hollering at? And again,
I'm rock hard.
a reason maybe why I enjoyed this more than I thought I would is because I went into it with low expectations. I watched it very late at night, so I was perhaps a bit delirious.
I watched it at 11 a.m. yesterday, rocking Adderall. You know, it just kicked in. I'd slept a good amount. I was ready to go. It was a good movie to me.
Right.
They bring the haterade.
Now let me talk real quick about how none of the characters in this movie are like, they're not playing, they're caricatures. Every single person in this movie is a caricature
Why I love
of what they're supposed to be.
Yes, correct.
Like I'm sitting here like I'm kind of tired Dwayne Johnson as an actor.
I already told you I enjoyed it. You don't have to convince me. I'm with you there. I'm absolutely.
Yeah.
Give me more of like
I rolled my eyes when more Jeffrey Dean Morgan walked on screen and him and Dwayne Johnson had a chest puffing competition.
I actually had the thought that John Cena would be a better fit for this role.
I don't know about that. Like,
I would have preferred it just because of the fact that I'm tired of The Rock, but I think Cena could have done at least the same job.
Yeah, Batista's my favorite.
I don't know.
By far.
He's the best actor, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of the rest.
In my mind, this movie is a Mark Wahlberg film.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, all right. Let's build a zoo.
I was more just going along the lines of modern Transformers movies with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, dude, those are dog shit.
It falls directly into that type of. And I mean, all you have to do to keep him engaged is give him like a Vietnamese person to punch, or
give him somebody that he can do hate crimes to, and sell his prayer app to, and he's good.
Hey, that's a different guy. That's Marky Mark, not Mark Wahlberg.
Marky Mark.
Is this the Kobe situation, number 8 versus number 24?
Yeah. Speak more on the Jeffrey Dean Morgan bit, because I too was like jarred a little bit when he first showed up. I'm like, that was an unusual casting. He grew on me, I think, but then again, I think it would have been better if he had the cowboy hat.
He's a fine actor and he's charismatic on screen, but it's one of those when he walked out, I was just sitting there, like, oh cool, we've got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, we've got Jeffrey Dean Morgan, we've got Joe Manganiello. We're just hitting all of the actors that I just don't want to see in movies that often anymore.
But you get to see Joe die.
Yeah, the I will defend the Joe Manganiello because that was just a subversion right there. I appreciated that. I definitely appreciated that.
Interesting. I don't know. I guess it was just the accent, but I love Jeffrey D. Morgan in this movie very much. I think
he grew on me.
I think he's having a lot of fun.
No, it's definitely jarring when he walks in at first, and you don't know how the character is really going to fit, and then he definitely grows on you. One thing, I don't know, I didn't look into this, and I'm curious if it's an Easter egg or not, but after the plane crash, when Russell's on the radio, and he's whatever, it's like whisper, whatever fucking his military
thing, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot,
yeah. So it was WTT and then EFR, and the EFR is Russell, whatever his first middle name would be, and then Russell. But I'm curious if there was some sort of Easter egg for the Whiskey Tango.
Well, the only thing that I can think of right now is that it's not really an Easter egg for the game is Weta was the group who did Weta Workshop. They Workshop is the practical side of things. They're the Lord of the Rings people, but they do, they have the animation side as well. They're the ones who did the effects for this. That's all I could think of. But
Weta Digital also did the effects for the Hobbit movies, so
yeah, dog shit.
Those movies not exist.
Well,
we don't talk about
dictionary, those. Just Whiskey Tango is shorthand for white trash.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because that's just WT.
Yeah, I don't see any from a quick glance. I don't see anything that really kind of sticks out to me. Because the original creators were Brian Collin, Jeff Newman. It was developed by Bally Midway.
Matt, I have a question for you.
Yeah, nothing. What is quickly before that? What is callbacks is there's a reason why they do Chicago. It's because a lot of the settings for the original games were in Illinois, not necessarily Chicago, but they were in various smaller cities in Illinois, including
Peoria.
Peoria.
Let it burn.
Well, because there's a saying apparently that I was unfamiliar with, that it's if it can sell in Peoria, it can sell anywhere. type of thing, and that's why they decided to do that.
Your little Marvel thing that you were talking about that I've been trying to guess, was it the dog barking at the wolf on the bridge?
No, no, no. It was. I'm like being explicit here in that it was some version of a. Well, that just happened. It was. It had. It may not have been word for word, but it was a. It was that effective statement. It wasn't. I'm not being. I'm not saying
Got
like
it, got
that.
it, got
I'm
it.
not using that as like a euphemism or something. Or
Understood.
it was almost exactly that. And the dog thing was fun. Whatever.
I know. I was just trying to think of Marvel-y things.
Yeah, because there was, in my opinion, there weren't that many. I thought it
Yeah,
was
They're
actually
not.
pretty good.
That
They
definitely
definitely
is the
weren't.
Marvel thing, though, because that definitely happened in Spider-Man, or like one of them, where a dog barks at like one of the monsters.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, I think that's a trope that
Yeah,
extends
I was just gonna
across
say.
beyond even Marvel.
Yeah.
Like any freak monster
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of.
You might even
Yeah,
be in
Men in Black did
Godzilla.
it first with the dog barking at the cockroach when it first lands.
Okay, so Matt, if this weren't a Dwayne The Rock Johnson vehicle, would you feel differently about the movie?
I mean, I'd be a little more indifferent about it. One
What
of those
else
where it's
do
just
you
like
hate it?
if I'm gonna watch a kaiju movie, I want to watch a good kaiju movie, not a movie whose ending was predictable for
Pacific
within the
Rim,
first
baby.
5 minutes.
Reset the clock. Man, I'm due
Reset the
for
clock.
I'm due for a rewatch on that one.
Yeah,
We
this
watched it,
movie
like, a
falls
year
closer
ago.
to Pacific Rim Uprising than it does Pacific Rim for me. Let's put it that way.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Nothing comes close to the disappointment of, again, that, speaking of things we don't talk about that don't exist, it's that one. I
That and
wish
season
Pacific Rim had
2
a
of
sequel.
True
I wish
Detective.
it.
Guillermo didn't do it. Like it's not real, not
Yeah.
canon.
What makes a good kaiju movie for you then, Matt?
I mean, better creature designs for one. I didn't think any of these beyond the alligator were like that engaging.
I thought Ralph was kind of cool. I wish they did more with the wings. I thought the creature design, again, I thought George was the one that's like, what the fuck are we doing here? There's not much experimentation going on. In
But
terms
it
of
wasn't like bad that George was just regular monkey, and like I understand the reason why, because like we're
Yeah,
we
but
got
even the
the lowest common
modern
denominator.
Godzilla universe realizes that you can't just have a monkey. You need to give him an iron
Thanos
gauntlet
gauntlet.
and an axe.
yeah, dude, giving Kong the fucking Thanos gauntlet was peak.
Hey, George uses some weapons. He finds weapons around. He like whips a fucking bus at the alligator. He's got his spear at the end.
But here's the thing: I would put this on roughly the same level as the modern, Godzilla, Kong, particularly the mashup ones.
Yeah,
The mashup ones for sure.
Like,
and honestly, I think
Skull
this
Island is better. Is absolutely better.
Yes,
Is
that's the only one that I would
That's
say.
that's like a
definitely.
good. That's actually like a good movie. The other ones are just it's popcorn nonsense, turn your brain off type of thing, which is fine. I enjoy that type of movie. Like, Matt, I often feel like you get too critical of some movies for being something that they were never intended to be.
You see, the thing is, I'm being critical of movies when they take me away from doing things I prefer to be doing.
Well, that was me, right? Like, I'm texting the chat, I'm doing the Ryan Gosling gif of the god damn it, like I have to go watch this shit, like I am him, he is me. We are all Ryan Gosling in this moment of just like, god damn it, I have to go spend this time doing it. And ended up not being that bad. I think I enjoyed it more like I tacked it on after the fact of like, this is my day was basically done. This was kind of gravy time. Yeah, I felt a little bit shittier waking up the next morning because I stayed up late, but like I didn't feel like I wasted time. So that is fair.
And this, we talk about the 90-minute movie. This is roughly a 90-minute movie.
About an hour 40.
Yeah, it's 103 minutes with the credits. Kind of like an inoffensive time. And I thought the pacing was honestly pretty good. There maybe were some scenes that went like maybe a few minutes too long that they could have cut it down straight to a 130, but it wasn't like some of the other movies where we're like, what the fuck is going on? We're going back and forth between shit. It's confusing. It was just pretty, you know, kind of straight line. It wasn't bouncing around, introducing like all these new characters. When it
I
did
almost found
introduce a
it
new
too
character,
simple. It was the type of movie you could look up and be like, oh, nothing real like important has changed the dynamic at all. They're still doing the same thing they were doing 20 minutes ago. I'll look up, they're still doing the same thing they were doing 20
yeah,
minutes ago.
but there was a good amount of action, I think, between that.
Yeah, I think there was a decent amount of ebb and flow because
Yeah.
it was like the rising action of.
There was no hero's journey in this movie.
Again, except for maybe George, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, not really. But
Davis
again,
learning to love people.
but it's like, again, things that I don't think a movie like this needs. I largely agree that the pacing was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
like at
one of
most
the better ones.
you could trim little bits here and there, but it would be, bits of rising and falling, and the
Conflict, different conflicts, like minor
like
conflicts
you would get those more, so it's the initial transformation and the all that shit going on. Then you'd get the bit with the wolf, and then you'd get a little bit of downtime, and then they're transporting George, and the plane explodes, and he goes crazy because when they turn the radio tower thing on to. That was a bit to me that I'm like, that's just silly. They have that's the one bit that I would actually criticize that. Yes, even stupid movies need to have legible and logical bits of motivation and I'm not even struggling to think of the right word, but they just have to have an inherent logic to them. The whole bit of Claire, the evil woman, being like, I'm going to
bring them here
beforehand. Before any of this has happened, I have genetically encoded in their brains like them to like respond to this specific radio signal, so that I can bring them here to do a Chicago 9/11, and I will somehow survive that.
And be able to shoot them up with this.
Besides the fact that my escape route is literally 10 feet away from the source of their rage. Like, yeah, sure, that tracks, and like I'm somehow going to be able to gather their like there's a deep illogic at her whole shtick, because she's like, I expect the military to take down them so that I can get a sample, but then it's like, of course the private military is not gonna be able to kill Ralph. That's how we designed him, and so what the fuck are we doing here?
We're gonna fully comply with the FBI's warrant immediately without calling our lawyer. That was the illogical thing that bothered me.
Of course.
I was like, call your lawyer. Call your lawyer. What are you doing? Why are you speaking to them?
I mean, can you tell the FBI to stop? I don't think you can.
No, you could say, I want to speak to my lawyer first.
Cease and desist.
Cease and desist. But if they have a warrant,
you need to steal the entire sovereign citizen.
You can't be like, no, you can't come in and take my servers until my lawyer.
Well, no, you could
verify so that you can fight it after the fact.
You have to give the entire sovereign citizen claim.
No, they're still going to do it, but you want your lawyer there because your lawyer's going to push buttons and fucking give them a hard time. And
I will say, at least in
this just sounds like you're trying to keep lawyers involved.
They definitely have an in-house counsel who has an office in the building they can
would make sure that their client doesn't say a fucking word.
Yeah,
just shut the fuck up.
But again, that's the type of thing of like, it's a movie, folks. Let's
No, that was just
move along.
That was just my brain rot. I literally wrote it down.
So Matt, continue the haterade. Let's go. Bring it. I can handle it.
I mean, there's not really much to continue on.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually just right there gone through most of the plot, right? They find the antidote.
Dwayne gets shot and misses vital organs.
Which it's really not an antidote. It's just benzos. It's just a bar.
Can I mention one little detail that really tickled me with the what's his face, the brother, the shithead brother, of the two, when he's eating his Pop-Tart in the little he's got a holder for his Pop-Tart. For his morning Pop-Tart. I thought that was incredible.
He was great. There was a little Easter egg in their office. They did have the Rampage arcade.
They had the cabinet. Game. They had the cabinets. Yeah. They had a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
So that's a good point to ask. Have any of you played any of the Rampage games?
Unless I did on some fucking cabinet that I didn't know what I was playing when I was mad young.
Did not have those cabinets in any of the arcades that were still around when. I mean, I know for
My touchstone arcade was the arcade cabinets in the Southington
at the
movie theater.
Yeah,
at the movie
correct.
theater. Yeah.
Yep.
I was familiar with another one. I had a birthday party when I was young. It may have been before I knew you guys, before I moved into that school system. So I was like pretty young at that point. But like I had a birthday party. It was like, you could call it an arcade, but they also sold these cabinets. But you could, it was just a store full, you know, it basically is an arcade. Yeah. But like you could buy, and they serviced cabinets and stuff, but they also, you know, held events so you could come in and play them. And I was there maybe once or twice, so I don't, there's a good chance maybe I had one, but no.
None of you played the console games like on
I was going to say, then there were the home console ports and sequels and stuff.
I never had a N64.
So
my N64 was exclusively used for Smash Brothers, Zelda, and Star Fox.
I have played one of the N64 ones. I think I played which one? It's the Rampage 2, I think is the one that it was the name of it, essentially, on N64. And I played it in second grade on a play date with a girl named Paige at her house. And I
Last name start with a P.
Yeah, and yes, it does. And I still remember that fondly to this day. So that's my only experience. It was very fun, dude. You just knock down buildings and kill people and eat them. You eat the people for health. That one scene where they show him like eating the woman.
So that is great. An Easter egg beyond just the eating people, which is, you know, a game mechanic. In the game, each of the characters has a designated NPC that they are like trying to find, and they get like special powers or something. And there's an extra mechanic in there. I didn't dive that deep into it, but the main one, because George is like kind of the poster boy for it, and she's the one like was on the marketing and all that, is his NPC is a woman in a red dress, and you know she is wearing a red dress, and that's amazing. So that was, you know, intentional, an Easter egg. But I did think it was funny.
Isn't that a God or a King Kong reference too? Like a woman with a red dress.
Not the red dress, but I mean just the woman. The woman with King Kong is.
But I thought I know she has a dress on. For some reason, I thought it was red.
Well, the originals are black and white, dude.
Yeah.
Her dress could be chartreuse for all I know.
Probably is some weird
red, green, blue. They're all just different shades of gray in my eyes.
You may want to see your eye doctor.
Are you colorblind? It wouldn't surprise me, but are you?
Winkle.
Okay.
I just make that joke all the time because it's easy.
What's the ratio of men that are colorblind?
He's dog-brained is what that is, because colorblind doesn't actually manifest.
I was helping build some wire harnesses at work the other day and was joking about how they put a color-coded table on the drawing for it, but because they're printed out in black and white, it's just different shades of gray.
Dude, grayscale. Like you are saving money on ink, but like when I build this thing incorrectly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's 1 in 12 men, so we're good. We beat the odds here, or we don't
beat
even
the ratio there. We're fine.
I do know someone who is red-green colorblind.
Yeah, that's the most common.
I do want to say something.
On his phone that showed us the world through his eyes.
Crazy.
And it was a very depressing world. It was almost like the Timmy Turner Gray Blob world.
I do want to say, this movie allowed me to root for the monsters in a more fun way than many other kaijus, because they like essentially sanitize and remove any of the people from harm's way. Like you essentially, I think it's like you see a ferry boat of people get owned by the gator.
Those people absolutely drowned and died.
Yeah, that they get owned by the gator, but like you don't actually see any other people really get hurt.
There's no gore, but you do see the people that like you see getting like eaten and fucked up are little tiny ant people.
Yeah.
You don't like you're not meant to like empathize with them because they are scale it down to such a degree that you can't.
And the military is not
well, that's the thing. It's like
drop a Moab.
I get to really root for the monsters to fuck up the troops and the city. Like, go crazy, man.
The only gore you see in the entire movie is when Ralph eviscerates the private military force. Like, literally, you see entrails leading Joe Manganiello to their corpses.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only gore you get. And again, you're not supposed to like those guys. Like, bets are that half of that team were, like, part of the poachers that Dwayne The Rock Johnson was fighting.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, that would have been a fun little tie-in if he wasn't immediately killed off.
They could have made this
a flashback scene where Dwayne Johnson remembers seeing Joe Manganiello ripping off a rhino horn.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
No, absolutely. That's what I was expecting, right? Is that there's going to be history between these two, or like, again, that they're going to be forces, pit against one another.
And he's going to look at him and be like, "You were there in Ethiopia, weren't you?"
Or like Joe Manganiello's the one poacher that got away when he saved George.
I let one live so he could tell their story.
Yeah, some bullshit like that. For sure.
I assume Joe Manganiello saw the rest of the movie script and was like, "Kill me early so I can go on and continue to
so I can continue and not be Deathstroke."
Cameos.
I'm busy not being Deathstroke in any actual movie.
And
hey, sir, he was in a patented post-credit scene with Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor.
He was still married to Sophia at that time, so he was just worried about pounding that poon. They're no longer together.
An interesting also bit of anti-military propaganda is them actually talking about the Moab artillery. I think 2018 was a point in time where that was a point in discourse. I forget which conflict it was that somebody or that we used a Moab against, and it was, of course it got swept under the rug and people forgot about it, but there was a bit of uproar about it, or maybe there's a threat of using it. But yeah, the largest conventional bomb in the arsenal, and they're about to drop 3 of them on Chicago. And they're so it's the military is not even incompetent. They are cruel, evil, and calculating. But even that, they're not very good at it.
Nope.
They're we suck at our jobs, so let's obliterate everything, including all the evidence of our fuckery.
There was a Libyan civil war going on. We were still in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
Syria.
I think it was in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
2017 dropped one. So one thing we've not talked about is this movie is
it was
commercially very successful.
It's made a lot of marketing too. I remember
it was
I remember seeing it everywhere.
It's also the highest rated video game adaptation, or highest reviewed video game adaptation, until Detective Pikachu came out. Granted, that was at a 61 Metacritic, so that's still not very good. But it shows you the state of pretty
highest
much most
grade
video game
remedial math.
Yeah, that type of shit. Yeah,
Mike's math grades.
Yeah. So it's something. Yeah, I don't know. That's when I was constantly looking at we've gone into the territories that we kind of struggle to try to find adaptations now, because there surprisingly aren't that many that aren't Resident Evil. And when I was looking at the ratings and the box office grosses and whatnot, Rampage is close to the top of both of them, and I'm what the fuck is this? I've never heard of this movie. I'm not familiar with the game. I'm doing the Shaq meme. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with your game. So I was just what the fuck is this? Does this count? Can we watch this? And, doing more research, I'm okay, it's valid.
It's definitely valid. And I was shocked. I did not realize it made $430 million. In 140.
It was no, it was 120 with another 140 marketing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So they only made $100 million on it.
Yeah,
a little more than that.
It broke even.
150.
At least broke even. That's really all that matters.
It's just I'm just surprised that there's not been a sequel. Dwayne must not be interested.
No, he's too
busy resetting the hierarchy of power in a different universe.
No, he's expressed interest, but apparently it was one of the production.
Is it because Ratner was initially involved and they can't do it because
they scrubbed that. Rat Pack went uncredited on this movie. This was the last film that
where he moved to a certain country. Actually, where did he go? Someone remind me.
I don't know.
Where he lives now?
Did he go somewhere with non-extradition?
Where he lives now?
Did he go somewhere with non-extradition?
No. He went to Tel Aviv.
Oh, of course. There you go. There it is.
Who is it?
Brett Ratner.
Oh, okay. I thought we were saying Jeremy Ratner. I was confused. I mean, Tel Aviv.
Say famous, sex crime, not allowers. We shut down. They shut down sex crimes of all kind in
State of Israel.
Yeah, that's definitely no bueno.
Yeah,
over there. I don't know how you'd say it no good in Hebrew. Yeah, there was a potential sequel. Warner Brothers is interested in had been interested in it, because it made enough money. The Rock has said he was interested in it, but it's long enough now that he's doing other things.
Yeah, it's not happening at this point.
Yeah, it's with no talks about it. Even them just saying, "Oh yeah, we're open to it." And the last thing I see here is 2021, and still there's no.
In Hebrew, it'd be Letov.
And he's also just not. The Rock Matt is not too far from the kind of public opinion at this point, in my opinion. He has lost his box office power. It seems.
Red 1 on the IMAX screen. Are you kidding me? That's gonna break records.
So I want to say something about that because I was watching another podcast that had call-ins. It was Stavi's podcast. It was Stavi's World. And this one girl was calling in about her boyfriend who is just a bum, and all he does all day is watch old Dwayne The Rock Johnson movies like The Tooth Fairy and the other one where he's got a daughter. And you know what? I think Dwayne needs to pivot back to those.
You talking about the one where he's a football player?
Yes. I can't think of the name.
That's the Tooth Fairy
Game Plan is the name.
It's Game Plan, and Tooth Fairy is a separate one.
I thought he was an athlete in that one too.
He's a hockey player in Tooth Fairy.
Okay. And then there was also around that time Vin Diesel, the Pacifier, which was very similar.
Classic. I love
that's way before. That's 4 years prior.
Is a far
much better
than either of those two.
Yeah, but that same general era.
When he puts the wrestling coach into the chicken wing position.
Yeah. No, that great movie. But yeah, Dwayne needs to pivot back to those. Stop being an operator and be an operator with a daughter.
He's done. He's getting ready to create his political career, and that's future President Dwayne Johnson to you.
I think he's given up on that.
Yeah.
He's doing live action Moana, isn't he? Isn't that what's
I don't know, but he has a fucking skincare brand and shampoo and shit.
Which is hilarious. He's bald.
Yeah, he has tattoo. I actually have his tattoo, moisturizer stuff.
Care cream, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the man is happy
He's also technically not retired from the WWE.
And he has a tequila company. He's a mogul.
He has an apparel company. He has supplement company. He has everything. He just sells his name.
Shit with Under Armour.
No, it's not. I think it is. I think it is a partnership.
It was the bowl. It was a partnership with Under Armour. He had shoes and fucking gear.
They still make that.
Do we want to give our final thoughts and wrap up? Give our ratings here. Matt is going to bring down the curve significantly.
Yeah. I like the movie. It's definitely FX core and very campy, and I enjoyed it.
That's not a number.
No, I was just giving his final thoughts first. I didn't know we were giving numbers now. All right, I'll give my number. Adaptation. I'm going to give it a 7 on adaptation. 1, I haven't played the games. 2, there's that change from it being, Ralph was eating glizzies to become a monster, and they just made it a wolf. I would have liked the glizzy eating. I would have enjoyed watching that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would want to know if they're pork or beef glizzies or a mixture.
Pork. It's got to be pork. If they're adding strange additives to it, it's got to be pork.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Some of those beef kosher dogs, they got some weird shit. But yeah, so 7, and then fuck it, I'm giving it a 9 on just my.
That might be a little too reactionary for my
That's
taste.
Fine.
There.
Matt's gonna bring it down.
He's trying to offset Matt's score.
He's adjusting the curve.
I really enjoyed it. I don't know
for you, I'm going after you, so I can adjust lower.
Yeah. But Matt, you have integrity, unlike some other people here. You won't let that sway your actual opinion.
Hey, I mean, I would if it wasn't for Matt, I was giving it an 8.5,
I'm
you know?
joking. I'm joking.
But yeah, no, 9, I
I
enjoyed
kid.
it. I would watch it again. I was ready to watch it the same day twice.
That was just because
I
you were on Adderall.
I mean, I always
locked in.
am, but yeah, it was just happened to be locked in. My day off.
I think this is. I agree. This is a much. It's a borderline to a full FX movie for me. Like I did enjoy this much more the second watch than I remembered the first on my first watch. So I'm gonna give it just a 7.1. The seven mark is FX movie territory for me. 7.1 is just above. So
This
I'm
is
going
your overall
7.1.
score, not adaptation.
Yeah, that's just the movie. And then adaptation, I they did a decent job of taking something that really doesn't have much plot. Like there's not
Well, there is no plot. It's not a
there's
plot
really
based game,
no
really.
plot
Not
to
at
the
all.
game. So
It's destroy as much city as you can for like 100 and some odd days, and that's it.
that's it. Exactly. So I think they did a decent job. I'm going to give it like a 6.5 there on the adaptation side of things cuz I do wish they were actually people that had been experimented on just to make the bad guys, a little even more craven
Mm.
and realistic.
Raven the Hunter.
Talk about a good movie. Talk about classic cinema returning.
Didn't that one rank lower with
It's
a
worse
viewer
than Madam
rating than
Web.
Madam Web?
It's
Yes,
worse than Madam
yes.
Web, apparently, both in terms of ratings and box office. Matt, do you want to go next or do you want to go last?
I'll
Let him
go
go
next. As
No,
far as
let him go
adaptation
last.
goes,
No, you go last.
Okay, fine. I've said most of my thoughts already. I don't have anything. I don't have a bow to put on it in any way. I like, for something that I've never played, right? I struggle to give something with an adaptation like that a 5 or anything over a 5-ish because I just don't really have much insight to offer beyond what I can like read on a Wikipedia page. I also tend to not go lower than that on something that I haven't played for similar reasons. There, except when it's more when it's egregious, it's easier to see when it's just completely fabricated from whole cloth. So going lower is a bit easier, but I do see little things here and there from, again, they're checking the boxes from the Wikipedia page. So as far as I know, they at least read the Wikipedia page. So that's as much as I did. This is as much as I did. So that's fair.
All you need to do.
I'll give it a 5.5 because, again, I have to just go kind of middle of the read. In terms of movie, though, I know I don't consider myself a cinephile or a real film head in any way. Like, I enjoy movies, but I tend to like stupid movies more. I tend to gravitate more towards the turn your brain off type of movie. To a degree, I have my limits, right? I have my limits. It's gotta have enough of the monkey brain neuron activation to keep me interested. It can't just be inane bullshit. Rather not waste my time. And this did a good job. Like, I was so negative going into this. I thought this was gonna be fucking terrible. I thought I was going to hate my time. I thought I was going to be pulling my hair out. I thought I was going to just be so fucking cranky. The fact that I didn't almost start falling asleep at 1 a.m. as I'm watching this was astounding to me. That it kept me entertained enough that I wasn't looking at my phone. I wasn't falling asleep. Is this cinema? Absolutely not. But that's not what I look for. That's not what I look for, I enjoy an art film every now and again, but I'm not going to go watch The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari or whatever. And, I'm not going to go do that type of shit. I don't hate myself. I don't like the smell of my own farts that much. So I don't know. This hits a lot of the things that I like in films. I like a good stupid movie, a good stupid action movie.
Mise-en-scène good.
Yeah, so I give it a 7.7. It's not quite at 8. It's not quite at 8, but I feel like 7.5 I was originally leaning that, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It's in the upper tier of the fucking absolute slop we've watched for these episodes. So
for many reasons.
I also have to think relatively, right? Like we grade on a certain scale here. Yeah, so adaptation, I really have no insight into that, so I can't really pretend to do anything else. So yeah, 5.5 and 7.7. Matt, bring us home and bring it down. Bring down the house. Let's go.
As far as an adaptation goes, I'll give it a 6.5 just because it seemed faithful enough, not much you can do, kind of did its thing. Now, speak on the movie. I first want to speak on the fact that
speak on it.
Yeah,
I despise professors who grade on a curve.
Good thing you didn't go to law school.
I mean, I was the student in the engineering program who fucked every curve up because I would be like, "Oh, look, I got a 98, so you can't do a just curve the highest grade up to 100 and get everyone up." I was the one who got excluded from curves usually. I think if you need to curve, you're a bad teacher.
I would agree. In an academic setting, I agree.
And I would
But I never took any math or science courses like that, so none of my shit was ever graded on a curve.
All of law school, baby. Gotta keep those
with
numbers
that out
up,
of the way,
get that money.
I think this movie falls closer to like, I was gonna be mean and put it like 4.8. I'll be a little generous and put it like 5.2.
I think that's fine. I honestly think that's total. Like, I don't think that's unreasonable at all. When you get lower than a 5, I would maybe go, yeah, you're maybe being a little salty there. But like, that's totally fine. A stupid movie can, I think, still be entertaining and still be bad and still be in, like a 5 rank movie can still be enjoyable. It was just a miss
for me overall. And I think it's just totally because a combination of...
You are also like the most kaiju enjoyer, I think, of the group as well. So you're the most maybe a little bit more critical there as well.
I mean, I'd much rather watch Godzilla -1.
Oh my god, dude! I want to get the Blu-ray for that. I mean, watch that again.
Totally different.
Probably my favorite movie from last year.
But I mean, it's I'd even rather watch Kaiju number 8 than.
All right, so let's get our little averages going here. Let's see, we've got 7. So let's do adaptations. So 7, a 6.5, a 5.5, and another 6.5 for an average of 6.4, 6.375. So 6.4, and then our movie adaptation is going to be much different. So we got a 9, a 7.1, a 7.7, and you say 5.2 plus 5.2. That gets us 25. Wait, oops, that's not right. That's not right at all.
I'm gonna say
no, like
not how averages
apparently
work.
the phone calculator does not know order of operations.
No, it does not.
No,
because you just put plus 7.1 plus. I forget what did I do. 7.7 plus 5.2.
28, 29.
That puts us at 7.25, right on the money.
Which I think is a good score for that.
Absolutely.
I think that's right where it should be.
I think that's totally fair. And it does put it in the upper tier of the absolute fucking slop we have watched here.
Boy, don't worry. Don't wait till we watch
good stuff, but then we've watched some bad stuff.
Don't wait till we talk about Sonic 3 or Sonic 4 or Sonic 5.
Sonic 10.
I mean, I'm sitting here watching Arcane 2 right now. And little peek behind the window. That's a show, all right.
You're not liking it?
No.
You liked season 1, didn't you?
I did. I think season 1 had a far more coherent idea of what it was trying to say and be.
I think so.
And I think season 2 was like, well, we only have 9 episodes, guys. Let's.
The middle. People criticize the end 3. I think the middle 3 is where it lost the plot because it's just
I'm on 6 right now.
I couldn't tell you how much time had passed in between certain episodes, but yeah, we might talk about that in a future episode. So let's cut that there. Hey, I had criticisms of it, but I thought it was.
I'll support anything Haley Steinfeld is in.
You're no better than the Miles Morales actor. The Miles Morales actor.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not at all.
What's his name?
What is it?
I forget his name, but he lost his mind, dude.
He's incredible. I love him.
Shameik Moore. I knew. Okay, I knew it was something like that. Yeah, Shameik Moore. He's gone absolutely loco.
I love it.
He is down horrendous.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's
the supervillain post that he made after she announced her engagement
was fucking beautiful. I loved it. every second of it. He's truly incredible.
And the funniest thing is, like, he probably has to end up interacting with her and her husband at some point.
Yeah, for
It's not
sure.
like they record in the same booth, you know.
No, but like at a
Most it's
fucking
on
premiere or
it's on
something.
press events. It's at press
Yeah,
events,
Exactly.
which he's already been super weird.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So he don't give a shit.
Yeah. All right. That's enough. We've done enough tangents on this one, and these are the least relevant. And we've actually gone long today, so you know we struggle sometimes. Sometimes I got nothing to say.
I had so much to say about this movie. It was
This
great.
is not one of them. All right, boys. Thank you so much. We will see you in the next one. We will be doing our wrap up of the news for the month of January. We will be talking about the Switch 2. Has the reveal been good, disappointing, middle of the middle?
Maybe we'll have some Pokemon ZA news that Mike could talk about.
No,
No.
you're not gonna get any. You're not gonna get any more shit until there'll be leaks, but you're not gonna get anything
That'll
more
be the
official
February
until
Pokemon Direct.
Well,
And then
that's what I was
there's
just gonna say.
theoretically
And then
another
April.
Direct at some point to talk about
There's
the end of
supposed to be
Switch lifespan.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a direct, Pokemon Direct, like in early February.
All right, and so that's going to do it for us. You can follow us on all the social medias, Camping Comrades, CampCom Pod, you know the drill. I haven't been posting written work to the Patreon just because I've been really busy with actual work writing, but I think that schedule is going to start to even back out. So hopefully we'll be putting something out for the Patreon soon. Maybe not this week, but hopefully next week. But yeah, you can check out a decent little back catalog of that stuff on the Patreon, free and open to the public. And I think that's all the plugs. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.